Okay, yet another excellent talk. Our next speaker is Shri Sunil Sunkara. Shri Sankara is a Kathak artist, a research scholar doing research in temple traditions of dance in Bharat. He is a Sangeet Natak Academy Bismillah Khan Yuva Purashkar awardee. He has secured a Nritya Nipun from Bhakta Khandi Sangeet Vidyapit, Lucknow, and is an MA Gold Medalist in Kathak from Kaviguru Kalidas Sanskrit University. He is trained in the Guru Shishya Parampara under Guru Renu Sharma, Guru Saspati Sen, Pandit Birju Maharaj at Kalashram. He has a diploma in Natya Shastra from Bharata College of Fine Arts and Culture and is doing a PhD from the Sri Center for Advanced Research in Kathak under Dr. Vibha and Dr. Puru Dadhij.
Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Shri Gurave Namaha. It's 3 p.m. I know everyone needs some tea or coffee after that wonderful lunch, so we can go to the first slide. I'm going to start with some humor. Who here is a bathroom singer? Anybody? Bathroom singer? Many. Who here is a bathroom dancer? Anyone? I see some hands at the back. Okay, so we do not anytime put a board up, right? I am dancing in my bathroom at 3 p.m. Thai Standard Time. Please arrive over there. No, we don't do that. So, in dance, all of you must have seen, when we think about Bharatiya Nrtya Kala, you must have seen the Nataraja and the dancing Krishna, Natvar, yes? The two gods? Yes, everyone? So, Nataraja, who is he? He dances Digambara, like we are in our bathrooms, without clothes, and he does not invite us into his space to dance. He is dancing to maintain the balance of the cosmos. But what does Natvar Krishna say? Let us all dress up beautifully. Let us come together, and together we create a performance. The two sides, the stage and the audience, with the Yamuna of art flowing in between. इसीलिए रास लीला जो होती है, यमुना के तट पर होती है. So in this small incident, I was trying to wake you all up, but I hope you had fun, yes, and you learned something about Nataraj and Natvar. That is the core idea. When we say that Nachiketa ji gave me a very tough and interesting topic, how to re-Hinduize Bharatiya Nrtya Kala. First, we have to understand what are the core Hindu principles that our land has given to the world. Oftentimes, we have been appropriated and given back our own principles in different words. And as Arjun ji was also mentioning, we are at the conference where Dharma is. So in the Natya Shastra, which we say is the origin of all art, Bharat Muni says that it is for Dharma, Artha and Yasha, both for the performer and the viewer. And there has to be Saha Upadesha, something you have to teach them in whatever you perform. And here I'm going to throw some words at you. Manoranjan versus Atmanarjan. Manoranjan is what? Entertainment. And here we have a word, edutainment. You educate through entertaining. If you separate out education out of it, no longer does it remain anything but enticement. That is the core philosophy of our Hindu art. Atmaranjan, you take them to the next level, that through education, through entertainment, you reach bliss. Enticement versus enrichment. You entice the audience today by making them clap. But are you making them silent and contemplating by giving them a thought they take home? Just this morning, Mohan Bhagwat ji was talking about Santushti, Santrupti. So when we think of the two words, instant gratification, today's art, I am sure all of us are on Instagram. You don't dance more than 30 seconds on it. And instantly we need to get a view, a like or a clap if it's a live audience. But what does our traditional Hindu art say? That you have to work with the audience so that on that journey with you, they reach that same point, a point where spiritual knowledge is transferred through communion as well as communication. And finally, Atma Sanyam is the most important message. Our main characters, whether it is Krishna or Rama, are Maryada Purushas who show us how to live life in spite of all the difficulties we face. Moment we take them out, like Arjunji was saying, we can have Batman being shown in Kathak definitely, but that is not leaving that message. So I can do that for instant gratification, but should I do it? The next core principle is the concept of bhav that we have given to the whole world. Knowledge transference or a performance happens in 3 layers. The sthul sharir, your body and my body. From it we enter the sukshma, which is our psychosomatic body, where it's not seen. It is a nirakar, but it has some gunas. And finally we go into the nirgun nirakar, which we call atma, soul, different words. But that is where this impression, bhav, exists. Now imagine you're attending a performance of the Ramayana and Sita has been abducted. Tulsidas कहते हैं, राम गा रहे हैं, हे खगमृग हे मधुकर श्रेणी देखी क्या सीता मृगनैनी. Prabhu Shri Ram is crying, searching for Sita. Through his karuna, through his tears, we may connect with the loss of a loved one in our own family. We may have lost a parent, we may have lost a loved one, but that impersonal emotion that the Lord is crying, and through experiencing that, some of our sorrow comes down. That is what is the idea of bhav. This entire diagram shows you what is the vehicle, what is the way in which Bharatiya Nrtya Kala progresses. At its core, we have the katha or the narrative, whatever story is being told. This is true of all Indian knowledge systems. The secondary layer that oftentimes is not taught and should be taught is the darshan through which it has to be looked at. Nalini ji was talking about how Wajid Ali, through his books Rahas, brought back Krishna as a dance. But moment you separate Krishna and Radha from being Atma and Paramatma and make them hero and heroine, you have taken away the darshanic significance and made them characters. That is exactly what she was saying is what went wrong there. You separated the two. You just took the content without taking the context. What is the vehicle or the technique through which we present is the Chaturvida Vinaya, where we use our body to dance, we use our speech, we use the clothes we wear to determine what are the characters, and finally we have the Satvika or those impromptu emotions that come out, tears, sweat, changing the color of your face when a character is lost in that emotion, and that is when you connect with that character or that story. So now finally coming to the last few slides, the 3 P's which I feel are the way forward: pedagogy, performance and patronization. The first one, pedagogy. What and how is taught? And here I am going to divide it into 2 segments. One is pedagogy within Bharatiya Nrtya Kala, because as we know now, as we've been discussing, there is a lot of loss of what it was before because of this segregation. Segregation happens that the dancer today only has to entertain. The dancer is no longer taking responsibility for what Bharata said, that the performance has to be Saha Upadesha. The dancer is not taking responsibility for spiritual communion. So the next slide please. In this, so we have to shift our focus into teaching of narratives. In fact, what has happened is, because the language of just the rhythm, for example, Kathak has ta the tat, tha kirtak, dhum kirtak. This language is easier to teach across the world. We have to make an effort to teach them compositions in Hindi, in Sanskrit and other regional languages. It will take more effort on the part of the teacher. But that is how through that you have transference of the Valmiki Ramayana, of the Tulsi Ramcharitmanas, of the Bhagavad Purana by taking that effort and bringing the narratives on the syllabic level. Again, study of the Shastric one, which from the Natya Shastra to the medieval treatises to today, the dancers need to learn what was it that was scientifically within our tradition, because all our Shastras, we say they are a Pancham Veda, which is very true, but if you look at it from today's perspective, they are amazing PhD theses of these scholars who deeply researched and presented their work. So we have to take it across scientifically even today. The second aspect of pedagogy, next slide please. Sorry, the previous one. This is for the audience or like as sir mentioned, Nachiketa sir, it is within the NEP today that through syllabus we have to teach the Saharidi. Who is the Saharidi? When the audience or the reader, the viewer and the performer are of one heart, of one understanding, of one plane. That is when this transference happens. This can happen through the syllabic level, right from junior KG till postgraduate level. You teach them about Bharatiya Nrtya Kala and what is the way to understand it. Even today, many times within India, I am asked, are Kathak and Kathakali the same? Kathak from North India and Kathakali from Kerala, which has a huge mass, a completely different aharya, but there is still this confusion, and many times we answer this question. Finally, coming to performance. Dancers today need to really bring back the narrative, bring back the story strongly. If I perform a Krishna Chhed-Chhat, I must explain to the audience that this is not Eve teasing. This is not. There is an Atma, Paramatma, Jivatma relation with it. But we cannot expect the audience to understand. Where the dancers fail today is not leaving this message. All of us show Draupadi Vastraharan. But when do we discuss what were the legal ramifications of that? On that day, if you go into the Mahabharata, Draupadi is being told by everyone that as per dharma, it is okay for you to be disrobed because now you are a dasi. Which means the protectors of law, the protector of the women and the protectors of culture gave up on that day, saying that everyone has managed their own dharma. That is where we found that things have gone wrong. Now, when we present these stories as dancers, we present them in the theme of bhakti. That through Krishna, we can be rescued. But it's also very important to bring in today's societal issues into it to educate the audience. Finally, the third one, where all of you soon need to be involved, the patronization. So throughout history of Bharatiya Nrtya Kala, we have had three different kinds of patrons. The Devashraya or the temples, the Raj Ashraya, which is the courts, both Hindu and non-Hindu courts, and finally the Lok Ashraya, which began with the government post-independence and continues with sponsors and private organizers today. Now when we think approximately around the 1st to 5th century, a segregation happened. There were the temple performers that continued to dance in the temple. In fact, even today, there are temples in Ayodhya who continue the same 7,500-year-old tradition of the Ramayana. But they are minuscule. They are marginally supported by a few temples who are struggling to support them. In fact, if you go down to the Jupiter Hall, you'll see my poster on the same subject. But at the same time, the Darbar received a lot of glamorous treatment, and there the segregation was only of Ranjakatva, enticement, Shuddha Nritya. You make the king happy, he gives you his chain, he gives you a ring. So that means the aesthetic of the dance gets determined by what the viewer is saying, not what we want to show through Shastra. So there's a lot of documentation of the Darbar, but not much of the temple. There has to be work done on this. And after these three P's, the final one that comes forth is people. You are the one who can make this change. While I was here in the last 2 days, we went to Erawan temple in Bangkok, and there I saw this interesting tradition that anyone who asks for something, it's a shrine for Brahma, and they pay the dancers to dance and seek benediction and blessings for them, and that is how the prayers are done. This is our very old Hindu Natya Shastric ritual, which they are continuing here even today. But in India, we find this in very few places. Maybe Yakshagana and Kathakali. Arjun ji has shared about this before in his talks in Bharat. Here we see this kind of culture. So if, let's say, there is an ashram or there is a temple who wants to bring back certain traditions, you have to go support them by being a participator and a part of it. Only then can it go forward. Only then can we bring back these traditions and support the ashrams, support the temples to bring this culture back. And finally, we are very excited that through Nachiketa ji, it will also be part of the syllabus. And with that, I end my talk. And thank you to all who have helped me in this.